Voices blending, melodies ascending, harmony in the air. Our songs are never ending. In the barbershop we create magic. Brad and John Show, yeah, it's pure classic. No instruments needed, just our vocal range. Notes flying high, it's our musical exchange. Tracy's station may try, but they can't compete. Our barbershop style, it can't be beat. Oh, the harmony of voices, so sweet. In the barbershop of life, our tunes will repeat. No need for instruments, no need for a band. Just the Brad and John Show, the finest in the land.
It is the Brad and John Show. It is a Friday, March 14th. This is A Block, and you know what that means?
Voices.
No, that's not what it means. You know what that means? It means...
Time for the John Combest Top 3.
God, we're 3 minutes into the show, and I screwed up already. That's John Combest they're singing about, C-O-M-B-E-S-T. Why are they singing? Because they are happy. Happy because John Combest has sacrificed 23 years of his life to put together this incredible list of everything that we need to know about the state of Missouri politically, otherwise, stuff like that. Sometimes it's human interest. Sometimes it's just plain goofy stuff. But that's what politicians do. They do goofy stuff. John, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Brad.
Are you ready for Casey?
Oh, absolutely.
We're on our way to the number one in third place.
You know, we have some weather events coming. I heard that on the weather forecast here on westplextalk.com. And I also heard that there's going to be some severe weather across the entire Midwest. And it brings to mind the idea of fire safety. In fact, Brownfield Ag Network points out that the Missouri's fire marshal says that so far this year in the state of Missouri, just the first not even 3 full months of the year, there have been more than 300 brush and grass fires reported in the state of Missouri, and some of them have affected hundreds of acres. So the Missouri Fire Marshal is pointing out to people, look, we got a big weather event coming today. Don't do any grass burns or brush burns today. Not only should you be careful any time of year when you're burning your grass and your brush, but particularly when we've had periods of drought. And, you know, Missouri's coming off a big drought from last year, Brad. So this is kind of a PSA. You know, last year when I would be driving through the Westplex, listening to Westplex 107.1, I would hear a member of the fire community reminding us to be careful when we burn our leaves and our brush. And now we have the Missouri State Fire Marshal echoing that same idea.
They're looking out for us, John. I'm telling you, they're looking out because you know why?
Why is that, Brad?
They know these kind of things because that's what they do. They know, and because it's all you have to do is just watch YouTube and see all the videos of people who are like burning leaves, and they're burning leaves next to their house, and they catch their siding on fire and stuff like that. You know, sometimes you just wonder about some people, don't you, John?
Who possibly thinks that that's a good idea?
Well, it's like coming around Thanksgiving when you see all the people who are deep frying their turkeys, and they drop their turkey in their kitchen in a deep fryer, and the oil spills out into the flame that they're using to heat the oil, and the kitchen goes up in flames, or the entire place goes up in flames. You know, sometimes you got to wonder, you know, maybe we need to take those people and put them into the same situation. Maybe we need to declare them illegal entrants and have Tom Holman take care of them and send them someplace else. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I would think probably the Roosevelt Hotel has a pretty strict policy on burning greenery. Although you could probably smoke marijuana there. But other greenery you probably can't burn.
No, they don't have marijuana. They have the devil's lettuce there. Come on, John. Okay, we ready for number 2?
We sure are.
Up a notch to number 2.
We're going to go down to Springfield, Missouri, and we're going to combine Springfield and baseball. Just yesterday, Brad, you brought up the fact, you told the story about how Joe Buck started as a baseball announcer for the old Louisville Redbirds, the Louisville Cardinals, and then that team moved to Springfield, Missouri. Well, a congressman from Springfield, Missouri, who we've already talked about this week, but let's talk about him again, Eric Burlison. He sent a note to the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred. And you may recall the story about Trevor Bauer. Does that name ring a bell, Brad?
It does.
Okay. And for folks who don't know, Trevor Bauer in 2020 was a Cy Young pitcher. That means he was the best pitcher in the game of baseball in 2020. And in fact, he had a fantastic record going into 2021, the first part of 2021. A woman with whom he had a consensual, intimate physical relationship decided to make up a story. And it turns out that in the lawsuit, there was a whole bunch of stuff that she didn't disclose. So, for example, the morning after, she took a video in bed with Trevor Bauer sleeping with a sleep mask on, showed how happy she was to be laying next to Trevor Bauer, sent it to her friends. Hours later, she made up a story that, according to her, the night before, she had been bruised, she had been battered, she had a beat up lip. Anyway, of course, a judge in California said, look, this woman's story is completely made up. She lied about the whole thing, whatever. But after that, Major League Baseball said, whoa, we can't have somebody who's been accused of SA. Brad, I'll be careful saying it because I don't want us to get a strike on YouTube. We can't have someone who's accused of this stuff be part of Major League Baseball. Also, earlier in 2016, Trevor Bauer had said a lot of things positive about President Trump. He had spoken out against DEI. He said a lot of politically conservative things. I'll cut to the chase here, Brad, and I'll get to the point. Eric Burlison sent a letter to Ron Manfred and says, hey, as a big company and as a big entity in the United States, are you punishing Trevor Bauer because he said some stuff that's in favor of President Trump, that opposes the league DEI policies? Eric Burlison points out that folks who've actually been convicted of some assault, some domestic assault, they've been given essentially a free pass or a minor suspension by Major League Baseball. Eric Burlison is, in short, saying, look, are you punishing this guy and are you blacklisting this guy because he happens to be a political conservative? This story was brought to us by Outkick, and I have a link up to it today. They call it an exclusive with Congressman Burlison. And, the Trevor Bauer thing gets brought up a lot. Anytime a team struggles and needs more starting pitching, normal people say, gee, it's a shame we can't sign Trevor Bauer. It's a shame Major League Baseball has essentially blacklisted him. We could use him these days.
So he's not played baseball since then? Or I see, I'm not.
He's played, yeah, he has played baseball, but he's played in Mexico. He played for one of Japan's top teams. I think, now I follow him on YouTube. He's a great follow on YouTube. He's quite entertaining. I believe he's playing this season. He wants to play in Major League Baseball. And Brad, you'll appreciate this. He's gone out and said, look, I will play for the league minimum. This isn't about me making excessive demands. Now, every year that he gets older, you could presume that every year a pitcher gets older, he's going to lose a little bit off his fastball or whatever. But we're talking about a guy in 2020 that was the Cy Young Award winner, Brad.
So, see, I don't follow baseball that much anymore. So has he not played since 2020 in the major leagues?
Like I said, he has played, and he's played in the Japanese.
But he's not played
professionally.
He's not played in the major leagues.
He's played in Mexico. He has not played in Major League Baseball, correct.
So he was found not guilty then?
Oh, yeah. Like the Los Angeles judge even said, look, there's no – I forgot the phrase that was used, but that the witness, the woman who made up the story, lied about what the judge called material elements of the case. And so, yeah, and in fact, it was a big deal because Trevor Bauer, I believe, countersued her for defamation because she clearly was making all this stuff up. Anyway, yeah, so he's been cleared legally. And what Burlison's point is that Bauer got the longest, if you exclude lifetime suspensions, like a Pete Rose type of suspension, Trevor Bauer got the longest suspension in Major League Baseball history. And it turns out the allegations, as you would say, were BS.
Okay, well, but is he I don't know the story very well. So is he banned from baseball, or nobody will just touch him?
No, so the controversy is no team will sign him now. And Burlison's question, one of the questions to the MLB commissioner is, have you had conversations with other general managers of teams, including the last team he was with was the LA Dodgers? So Burlison's letter asked Manfred, hey, did you lean on the Dodgers to not sign him? To say, hey, look, it would be bad PR. You know, we don't want a bunch of women getting mad that originally believed this story, and then they have buyer's remorse for believing a fantastical tale and they'll protest us? Or did you say, hey, this guy's just too hot. Like, he's just too controversial. He's got the woman thing. He's a Trump supporter. People are going to boo him. Just let's not sign Trevor Bauer. That's what Eric Burlison says he wants to know. And Burlison ends the letter by saying to the effect of, look, if you guys, if your message is consistent, then you guys shouldn't have any problem answering these questions.
Well, see, if Eric is any kind of a guy, what he would do is he would make him a honorary member of the House, and he'd pitch for the Republicans when they play the Democrats in their yearly baseball game, right? Don't you think?
I would love to see a team that had Eric Schmidt and Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, because Eric Schmidt was a good baseball player as well too, wasn't he?
Really good. Yeah, he continues to be. Let's not use past tense, Brad. He continues to be a great baseball player.
Really? Who is he playing for now? Is he playing for the Cardinals?
He's playing for the Congressional Republicans. Yeah, he takes part in that game every year, you know?
You can tell I'm a sports fan, John. John, once upon a time, I used to own a sports station. Can you believe that? The guy who...
I do believe that. And you did some play-by-play with a guy that ended up running Greater St. Louis Inc., which plays a key role in story number 1 today.
I still can't believe that he did that, but we'll move on to number 1.
The number 1.
Speaking of Greater St. Louis Incorporated, where the great Tim Brinker now works, a headline from your favorite news outlet, St. Louis Public Radio, by a woman named Lucretia Wembley. The headline, St. Louis metro region sees largest population growth since 2010. I'm going to ask you a trick question. That's great news, isn't it, Brad?
Well, I think the population growth is out in St. Louis County and the collar counties and not in the city. Am I correct?
Gosh, I hate people who follow the news and who understand population trends. You really ruin everything for us here at St. Louis Public Radio, Brad. You are correct. Yeah, so the headline, which is quite joyous about the largest population growth in the region, you go a few paragraphs down, 3 paragraphs down, in fact, and you see that the city of St. Louis lost a little more than 3,000 residents last year. Now, the reason this is noteworthy is because yesterday, brand new U.S. Census estimates came out for 2024. So they're not perfect, but this is what the census says. Okay, here's what we think happened in 2024. So yes, Brad, you nailed it. The region, the overall region, in which shows St. Louis, which shows 15 counties across the St. Louis metro area, in fact, gained residents. But of course, the city continued to lose population. Now, there is one gem of a quote here in Lucretia's piece. She's going to go to Tishaura Jones because Tishaura is going to give it to you straight and talk about the city's success. Here's what Ms. Jones had to say. While our city has experienced population loss for decades, AKA not my fault, these numbers show that we continue to slow that decline with the goal of reversing it. People want to move to a city that is safe, welcoming, fun, and has a successful school system. That's St. Louis City, wouldn't you say, Brad?
Whoa. Is this the Babylon Bee? Is that a
This is an actual quote. I couldn't believe this quote from Tishaura.
Okay.
People want to move to a city that's safe. Okay, right.
Okay.
Welcoming, sure.
Okay,
fun.
read the whole thing again. Read the whole thing again, okay?
Yeah, I'll read. Well, we won't do the first sentence because she says that the city has experienced population loss for decades.
Okay.
So in other words, she's saying this decline is not my fault.
Right.
I inherited a melting ice cube.
Don't blame me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the money line. Quote, people want to move to a city that is safe, welcoming, fun, and has a successful school system. And that's St. Louis, I think, Brad. Wouldn't you say?
John, it's funny you should say that because of the fact that someone sent me this picture last night, and I put it up on my Facebook page. I know you don't look on Facebook, but here, let me see if I can bring it up, and I'll describe the visual of it. It's a sign that was taken someplace down in southeast Missouri, because if you know southeast Missouri, there is a point when Interstate 57, which is for the most part in Illinois, intersects with 55. And there's an intersection down there where you can either go on 57 or you can go north on 55 to St. Louis, or you can go south on 55 to Memphis. And the sign says, somebody put this, let me see, I thought I had it, here it is. And the sign says, somebody put a comment on this. This is just a sign it shows east, north 57, north 55 St. Louis, south 55 Memphis. And it says, either way you go, you're going to get shot at.
That's true.
So if you're going to Memphis,
and accurate.
Memphis, St. Louis, or Chicago, you're going to get shot at. I mean, what universe is she living in that she can actually, with a straight face, say that? I mean, is that? Oh God,
I don't know. I think if you're one of the school board members that got some, free food, maybe you got some free Pappy's barbecue, you think things are pretty good.
I referenced the fact that when Steve Ellman does his State of the County address to the local chambers, and I've been through several of them, he's always really good at that. He gives 2 points, and I know John's going to say, oh, Brad, here it goes again. He says, why do people want to move to St. Charles County? Good schools and safe neighborhoods, good law enforcement, okay? I wonder if we called Steve Ellman right now and we says, hey, Steve, have you heard this quote that Tishaura Jones said about the city, safe neighborhoods and good schools? Steve, your reaction, please. What do you think he'd say?
I think he would say Brad always leaves off points 3 and 4, which are dispensaries and then a tie between car washes and golf carts.
That's just in Cottleville. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In segment C, or in block C, since it's Friday, we do things different on Friday. I have the best What Would John Do? And this is a story. What is it? What was it? What 48 Hours did that? So it was Dateline. A story ripped from the headlines.
Ripped from the headlines.
Ripped from the headlines. A story. And we're going to essentially do the WWJD, What Would John Do? But that's coming up in C block. In B block, I got more crazy questions for you. Okay, we're going to take a break. I'm going to take everything set up correct here. Yes, it is.